Imagine being trapped in a giant house full of monsters with no idea why. That's the start of Resident Evil, one of my all-time favorite games. Today I'm going to be explaining the story of the very first game, but keep one thing in mind. Back when this first came out, we knew nothing. There were no movies or sequels yet. It was just a scary mystery. So today, I'm breaking down the story exactly how it was told back when it first released. Let's dive right in. The story begins on July 24th, 1998, just outside of Raccoon City. For weeks, people had been hearing about this bizarre cannibals murders in the woods. To handle it, the police sent in their elite STARS team. Bravo was actually the first to go out and investigate a day earlier, but they completely vanished. No radio, no contact, nothing. So the team, Albert Wesker, Chris Redfield, Jill Valentine, Barry Burton, Joseph Frost, and Brad Vickers touches down on Arkley Mountains. They find Bravo Team's helicopter rotting in the woods, but strangely, nobody's in it. Damn, Albert, looking like Johnny Bravo out here. Most of their equipment is still there, which means they didn't just leave. Something happened to them. But things go from weird to terrifying really fast. Joseph Frost walks into the tall grass and spots something on the ground. He picks it up and realizes holy shit, it's a severed hand! Likely from one of his missing friends. Before he can even react, a pack of mutated dogs jumps out of nowhere. My boy is just pre-firing anything and everything at this point. Before Alpha Team could do anything, my boy Joseph was getting shredded like manoodle. This stuff I didn't get to see, as it was cut in the American releases, and thank God, I'd have been pooping bricks as a kid back in the day. I'm gonna blur this part out of the video because it gets pretty graphic, but Joseph doesn't make it. Seeing their homie get torn apart, the rest of the team has to run for their lives towards a massive mansion in the distance. Well, actually, except for Brad. Brad said, "I'm getting the hell out of here," and took off and left everybody behind. What an asshole. I forgot to mention, but we will be following Jill's story from here on out. After they lock the front doors, the team realizes Chris is missing. Where did he end up? I have no clue. We're just all running together. What I did as a kid and instantly regretted was check that front door. I thought, hey, maybe he tripped or something, just to get the shit scared out of me. Jill and Barry go investigate a gunshot heard from a different room. They turn the corner into a dining room hallway and find the first zombie. This scene right here was the main reason I avoided this game in my childhood. Just pure nightmare fuel. Jill runs back into the dining room, and that's when Barry pulls out his piece and just starts blasting away.
Let me take care of this.
At this point, this is when they realize they stepped into the wrong crib. Unfortunately, this is just the beginning of horrors for our Alpha Team. We run out to go tell Albert too, just for him to be missing as well. Where the hell's everybody going? Barry suggests it's a great idea to split up and check out these other rooms, even though two people from our team completely vanished. As Jill explores further, she steps out onto the second floor balcony. Barry out there waving his gun and all in my face. He shows me a Bravo team member. He's been completely pecked to death by a massive flock of infected crows. The moment you walk out there, the crows are making all types of noises, making me scared. It's this super eerie reminder that nowhere in this place is safe, inside or out. It's a good thing Barry gave me a bazooka. I mean, damn, I'm finna blow some shit up. If mutant dogs, mutant crows, and zombies weren't bad enough, the mansion itself is a total death trap. At one point, Jill grabs a shotgun off a wall, triggering a trap where the ceiling slowly lowers to crush her. Why someone would put that there? Your guess is as good as mine. But here comes Barry at the last second, kicking the door in.
Hurry! This way!
But things are starting to get a little weird. Jill notices Barry's acting sketchy. All that talking to himself and disappearing at the worst times. Where the hell are you going, Barry? One of the ways to figure out what's really going on in this place is reading these notes and journals scattered around by the dead staff. That's how we find out this whole nightmare is the fault of Umbrella Corporation. They weren't just making zombies. The zombies were an accident from a leak of the T-virus. Umbrella's real goal was creating bioorganic weapons to sell to the military. The mansion was just a front for their illegal experiments. Take that, you filthy animal. And speaking of those weapons, Jill has to fight some insane stuff. At one point, she finds Bravo Team's comms expert, Richard, bleeding out. He was bitten by a giant ass snake, triggering this massive panic moment where you have to race across the mansion to find some serum and bring it back in time to save him. After that, she has to go back and fight the exact same snake. Luckily, she defeats it. After looking through the mansion, Jill heads out to a smaller cabin area called the guardhouse. This place is a mess, overgrown with massive pulsating vines that have basically taken over the building. Deep inside, she finds a plant, Plant 42. Jill gets grabbed by these massive tentacles, and things look bleak, but right when she's about to be crushed, here comes Mr. Barry to save the day. He bursts through the door with a flamethrower. Where the hell did you even get that? He just starts torching the thing while the plant shrivels up. At this point, Jill is still skeptical, but thankful for the last second save again by Barry. With the plant dealt with, Jill finds what she needs to unlock the rest of the mansion. On the way back, she hears a gunshot, and to her surprise, it's freaking Wesker. She hasn't seen this man since the very beginning when she first encountered a zombie. They have small talk and whatnot, talking about how they're glad they're still alive, but he suggests that Jill goes back into the mansion and see what else is left to be discovered. But the second she walks back through those doors, the vibes completely shift. The Hunters. These things are reptilian killing machines with giant claws that can decapitate you in one swipe. This is the moment you realize Umbrella wasn't just making accidents. And while Jill is dodging these lizard monsters, I can't forget to mention this whole time, they are still trying to get help from the same person who dipped on their ass earlier. With the Hunters now roaming the halls, Jill realized the mansion was no longer a puzzle. It was a hunt to go deeper into Umbrella's secrets. She had to head back outside of the courtyard using a heavy stone crank she found hidden in the mansion. Jill was able to open a passageway with a ladder leading down. The ladder doesn't take you to another hallway. It drops you straight down to a dark, damp, underground cave. And guess who's waiting for me down here?
Oh, Jill. What good timing.
Good timing my ass. Apparently he heard some gunshots and he wants to go together to figure out where it came from. And as soon as he's done, he just leaves me and goes to the other room. Okay. But it's down here that amidst the sound of dripping water and skittering monsters that Jill finally hears a familiar voice and stumbles upon the dying captain of Bravo Team, Enrico. He's severely injured, but alive. He tells Jill that someone in Alpha Team is a traitor. Here I go looking at Barry, but right before he can drop the name, a gunshot rings out from the pitch black darkness, killing Enrico instantly. The shooter escapes unseen, even though I hear them big ass footsteps. Not long after, Jill finds a secret elevator taking her deep underground into a massive Umbrella lab. Soon after that, we run into, of course, Mr. Barry. We agree to go down an elevator, and from there, all her suspicions became true.
Wesker,
You did a fine job, Barry.
just as I thought.
Albert Wesker, their captain, has been blackmailing Barry the whole time by threatening his family. Oh, okay, that's why you've been acting weird. We find out it's his doing of why we're all in this mess. He orders Barry to go back to the elevator, and Barry listens like a good boy. As Albert's explaining his mastermind plan and how he's going to use the Tyrant, at the last second, once again, Barry pistol whips his ass in the back of the head, knocking him unconscious, and they decide it's best to figure out what to do with this monster before he causes chaos throughout the city. Seeing this for the first time, I was terrified, man. I was like, I'm not finna fight this thing. I hope I don't fight this thing. Well, Barry does something on the computer, drains all the liquid out of it, and 5 seconds later, the Tyrant breaks out. First, he makes a move on Barry, slashing him in his stomach and knocking him unconscious. It's up to Jill to save the day. Luckily, she has that bazooka that Barry gave her earlier, so we're blasting this Tyrant up, and eventually got the upper edge on him. Jill runs over to Barry, waking him up because at this point, the lab is set to blow, and we have to hurry up and get Chris and get the hell out of here before we're all blown into smithereens. I should mention, at this point, when they go back to the hallway leading to the elevator, Albert's gone. He done dipped out. Oh well, that's the least of their worries now. With the time clicking, Jill makes it up to the helipad, sets off a flare calling for Brad's help before he can get there, and Tyrant bursts through the damn concrete, ready for one last fight. And this is it, all or nothing, the final battle. Jill is doing everything she can to defeat this damn Tyrant. And as she's running down to her last few bullets, here comes Brad to save the day. Drops the biggest bazooka I've ever seen. She runs towards it, holds it to her shoulder, and we get the most cinematic explosion I've seen on a PlayStation. And there it is, the Tyrant is blown into a 4-piece combo at Popeyes. With the exploding mansion in the distance, Jill rests her head on Chris. Chris looks over to Barry, and for a second, everybody looks relieved, but you can see in Chris's eyes that this is just the beginning of what is yet to come.